So describe the emphasis of artwork in Northern Europe compared to the emphasis of artwork in Italy during the Renaissance period. What was art education focused on primarily during this time period? So we talked quite a bit about some of these Renaissance artists in Italy, and a lot of them advised by the Pope to make some of these fine works of art. But in Italy, they focused on other things too when it comes to their art and their creations. So I'd like you to mention a little bit about that and then talk a bit about some of these Northern Renaissance artists who we mentioned already in the presentation. I believe it was more on Monday. And then obviously look at your article for reference too. Bless you. All right, so Northern Europe, we talked quite a bit about some of these Northern Renaissance artists. Okay, we mentioned about Albrecht Dürer, and what was he known as? What is another name for Dürer? What's his nickname? Connor, the German Leonardo. Yeah, good job. So he's bringing a lot of these ideas from Italy and bringing them north, bringing them up to obviously Germany and then modern day France, okay, and he's experiencing this humanistic movement in these areas of Europe. Like I mentioned at the start of the chapter, it's all originating in Italy and it's funneling up to the rest of Europe and even in parts of England. Good. So England, we talked about a famous Renaissance artist, one that you know of, I'm sure of. You've heard of him before. What was his name? Talked a bit about him yesterday. We talked about him on Monday. And again, I think you heard of him before. Why? Shakespeare. Yep, good job. We talked about quite a bit of his works with Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, Hamlet, Julius Caesar, okay, all designed around certain themes. Okay, Christianity is focused within it. Yeah, you see symbols of that religion within his artwork, but for the most part, it's about really just tragic love stories. It's about other issues that maybe people encounter on a daily basis. And like I mentioned yesterday, he would speak the tongue of many of the people in the middle class and even lower class. So yeah, he would reach all audiences. He was famous not only by the higher class of monarch, but even the lower middle class, because he could speak, like I said, a lot of these forms of English that was represented in the middle class. So I know I went through a few examples of today's slang. What are some today's words that you guys use? I don't know. Dope. What? Dope. Dope. Okay, that was dope. Yeah, it'd be all dope if you guys came out for wrestling. Yeah. All right, okay. What else do we have? Another one? Bussin', JoJo's Pizza's bussin'?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
bad.
Why?
It's bad.
That's why you wouldn't agree on the menu call.
JoJo's Pizza slaps. I don't know.
It slaps.
No.
Oh, I heard that one before.
It's
I heard
not.
that.
JoJo's Pizza is
I thought it was snacks. I thought it was snacks.
No.
Okay. I heard a cap before too. No cap. No cap. Yeah. Homework, no cap. Tonight. Yeah. Okay. Chris,
Are you aware that quiet was me about 48 because?
what's that?
Are you
We're
aware
not in that club. We're not in that age anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the Renaissance.
Yeah.
You said something was gonna
Reading
change, we never changed anything.
yeah, this is your seat. We're good here. Okay. So, all right, we talked about Shakespeare. We mentioned quite a bit about his works and how he was famed amongst the people. All right, what else did we mention? What else? So with Northern Europe, you read a little bit about this yesterday, the differences of themes and perspectives of artwork in the Renaissance in Northern Europe and in Italy. Go ahead, Alana, what do you have? Yeah, good job. So a simple lifestyle. Can you tell more about that? What do you mean? Simple lifestyle, more like the lower class? Good. Yeah, good job. So they focus more on the lower class of society, the peasants. Yeah. So they talk about the roles, their statuses, what type of works, what type of jobs they might have had, and the brutality of their work life. Okay. And how many of these people really didn't seek the same opportunities or have or offered the same opportunities as others. So I thought that was interesting. So early on in the Renaissance, it's not just all about the wealthy, the monarchs. It's not all about informed with Northern Europe. It is focused on Christianity, but they also depicted the lower class, how the other half lives no matter what, right? Good. What about in Italy? What they focus on pretty heavily. Why? Okay, yeah, religion, Christianity. Okay, they were open to more ideas, though, of influence, and we mentioned quite a bit about the history of ancient Rome and Greece, and a lot of these sculptures, a lot of these paintings depicting some of, with Roman Greece mythology. So that's important. That's something that they often depicted in their artwork. Okay, we also mentioned a little bit about Da Vinci. I showed you a video yesterday about his engineering and how he was really ahead of his time when it came to some of these designs, and how he was fascinated with gears and the pulley systems and looking at, like, let's say, the internal workings and engineering of a clock and a watch and applying it to other objects. So I thought that was interesting. What else did Da Vinci focus on? He drew a lot of these pictures about this, designs of this, but it never really came about. Caroline?
Drew on anatomy.
Anatomy, yeah, good job. So the Vitruvian Man. So we mentioned a little bit about that. Good. Matt? Flight, yeah, good job. So he's fascinated by flight, and he drew a lot of, guess you say, engineering models, blueprints of how to create some sort of flying machine. Good, good. All right, is there any questions on the bell ringer here with Northern Europe and moving down to Southern Europe and Italy? Again, the main focus, a lot of it is Christianity in both areas. Okay, but for the most part in Italy, they focused on the higher class, the wealthy individuals, and mostly the monarchies of the time. And whenever the Pope would come around and tell any of these famous Renaissance artists in Italy to depict Christian themes, they would. Right? We talked about the Sistine Chapel, talked about Raphael and the Madonnas. We mentioned about Da Vinci, okay, and his works of art. Donatello with his sculptures of David. And then when you move more north, it is focused on Christianity pretty heavily, okay, and even more based off the lower class of society, the lower. All right, so I will get to the terms here soon, but let's go to the assignment from yesterday. Let's go over this real quick. It shouldn't have took you too long. A lot of these notes you could have got, well, a lot of these questions you could have got the answer from the notes. But I thought it was a pretty good reading to understand some of the Renaissance, the viewpoints all around Europe. All right, so number one, what does Renaissance mean? Oh man, this is something everybody should know. Everybody should know this one. All right, Olivia, go ahead. Rebirth, good job. Rebirth of what? What's up? The Middle Ages? Medieval times? No. No, rebirth of what? Ancient. No, Katie, go ahead. Rome. Yeah, good job. Ancient Rome, Greece. Good job. So the thoughts, the ideas of the political structure, perspectives of art, and just really understanding more of humanism, these humanistic ideas, how that emerges during the Renaissance. Good. It's not just focused strictly on the church, on religion. All right, two, why were the cultural achievements of the Italian Renaissance important? Why were they important? What do we have here? Connor, go ahead.
Because it marked the transition of Europe from medieval periods of the early modern Europe, and the Italian Renaissance paintings exercised a dominant influence on Western paintings.
Awesome. Good job, Connor. Good work. Good work. So yeah, with the Renaissance, we talked about just the chapter before the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages. That's why it gets the name, because it's a step backwards, right? We mentioned that quite a bit, how that was, in a way, an obstacle to get over, to hurdle over until we can move to more of a modern time period. And with the Renaissance, this is bringing out these new innovations, these new ideas, perspectives, humanism, and a branch away to control the Catholic Church during this period. Right? Again, the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, that's why it gets the name, because it was almost like a step backwards. Okay, good, good. Three. With the achievements, like Connor was stating here, a lot of these works of art that I talked about, that we discussed in class already, these are staples of Western civilization. So when you think of Western civilization, a lot of these forms of art, they are the ones that really kind of, funnel towards the top. With the Mona Lisa, the Sistine Chapel, with a lot of these sculptures by Donatello, Raphael's work, Madonnas, and with the School of Athens. It's important to note, and many people know these works of art. And I'm sure you guys seen them well before that presentation I had this year. So again, it just goes to show how important they are to our society and to our culture as a whole, Western civilization. All right, three, where did the Northern Renaissance take place? How did it get to these places here? What do we have? Honor, go ahead. He's the only one with his hand up here. So, did you have your hand up?
Yeah,
Sorry.
should know what it is.
My bad. It happened in Germany, France, England, Poland, and the Renaissance happened in Denmark as well.
Good.
And they got to these places pretty much through trade, commerce, between Italy and them.
Awesome. Good job. Good job. So we mentioned quite a bit about the origins of the Renaissance in Italy. How it started there is because of trade. Italy was that central hub where all those resources, materials, and even ideas, influences from the rest of the world, specifically the Ottoman Empire, the Middle East. You can even say resources from Africa, parts of Asia coming into Italy, and it's falling to the rest of Europe. And yeah, you talk about modern day Germany. And at the time, there's many different kingdoms that were sporadic all throughout Germany with the Holy Roman Empire. And then you look at modern day France. Again, some of these kingdoms kind of broke it up. It's not what we see it today as. We talked about England, okay? And we mentioned a little bit about William Shakespeare and his fine works of art. Even moving even northern to Scandinavian countries, okay, and how that has a huge impact. The reason it happened is because of trade. Right? We talked about Albrecht Dürer, and he was one of those movements, the German Leonardo, bringing these ideas from Italy to Northern Europe. Awesome, good. All right, number 4. What social class was the emphasis of the Northern Renaissance? Lana, go ahead. Yeah, the peasants. Good job. Good job. That's simple life, right? Yeah, so the lower class, the peasant lifestyle. We mentioned quite a bit about that already in the notes that we talked about, and how they were depicting themes and roles, statuses these people had. Really had the hard lifestyle, the hard conditions that these people were faced with every single day. And this was a new look at society, right? And we talked a little bit about Erasmus and his viewpoints of enlightenment and how these people should have somewhat of a say, and there should be somewhat equality throughout the whole, not just the select few. So creating more opportunities for people. All right, that's going to lead right into the Enlightenment period, which we'll mention here soon enough. All right, so we're at what we're at. No, 5. How is the Italian Renaissance different from the Northern? There we go. What we got? For number 5. Ozzy, what do you have?
The Italian Renaissance was.
Yeah, good job, good job. So we talked specifically about a family last week and their influence on these Renaissance artists in Italy. What was that family's name again? Batista, go ahead. Medici family, good job. So their wealth really attributed to a lot of their works of art, and we know that they had a strong influence, even some of them becoming popes in the Renaissance period in Italy. So the wealthy, the elite, we talked quite a bit about how they focused on history of ancient Rome and ancient Greece, and a lot of their creations based off of some of these mythological beings and figures within their culture and their history. So yeah, it wasn't just based solely on Christianity. There's a lot of other themes emerging from the Italian Renaissance as well. All right, 6. What inspired the social changes in Italy? What inspired them? What? Good. The fall of feudalism and the emergence. What's that? Okay, so you're saying trade. Okay, good job. So this emergence of trade throughout Italy and moving to more of a commercial revolution. We mentioned that last chapter. I should have talked a little bit more about it this chapter, but you guys understand the essence of it. How trade, how influence can really affect societies and the emergence of these new kingdoms in Europe. So yeah, that's important. That's important. So the fall of feudalism, good. So we're not focused anymore on that feudal pyramid. And like we talked about, we're not really doing that in the class anymore. It's a simulation. But you still have to do your push-ups at some point. At some point. Yeah, and you guys sign up for wrestling. So you gotta do both.
Wait, what?
You gotta sign up for wrestling too. So you gotta do both. You gotta do wrestling. All right. Okay. What else was an inspiration to the changes in Italy? We talked a little. Jason, was that your hand?
That was definitely.
I saw a hand. I saw a hand too. You see a hand too?
Yeah.
That's
That's a hand up. Look,
Yeah,
right there,
yeah,
right
yeah,
there,
yeah,
right there.
That's it. I
It's
don't know.
so-
What do you like? Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby? I don't know what to do with my hand. You guys ever see that movie? Okay, better. It's pretty vulgar.
Because every time you say something about weed, you're like, oh yeah, you guys should watch that. Like, every time.
You're right, Ashley. You're right. Well, Jason, what do you
I
got?
thought dirt track.
I know this is wrong, that's why I'm not saying.
Then do it.
Um,
The only wrong answer is like the old say. Come on, Jackie.
Top of the blue one.
You should be a philosopher.
Number six. So you didn't finish it off fully. I'm just waiting for another turn.
Well, that's kind of what I had. I had the ball with
Okay. Well, I go ahead. Humanism. Yeah, good job. Humanism. Good. What is humanism again? What does that mean? On.
It's pretty much valuing the lives of humans over the thoughts of the church.
Yeah, the divine, right? Yeah, so focusing more on human interaction, experience, knowledge of, obviously education, and breaking away from the church, Good. Scholasticism, what we talked about last chapter. 7, why was Northern art more secular, non-religious? Northern art. Go ahead, Chris.
Before I answer, I'm gonna say that I didn't really understand what it was saying about why it was more secular. But what I have is people of the North were under the misconception that Rome was taking a turn away from Christianity as they saw the humanistic part that started coming from the area. So basically, the North followed suit.
Okay, good. Yeah, so these changes, these viewpoints against the church are becoming a little bit more prevalent. And you talked about it already here. What's the next topic we're going to be talking about?
Reformation.
The Reformation, yeah. So a lot of the issues of the Catholic Church are emerging, and we're going to be talking quite a bit about how this Reformation will occur in Europe, to a point where the Catholic Church is really pushing a lot of really concerning times and issues, problematic issues too. The people, especially the lower class. I mentioned quite a bit about the artwork in Northern Europe being focused on the lower class. Now these people were promised many different things. And the way the church kind of keeps people in line is, oh, you know what, if you perform this act or this duty, or if you pay to the church, if you just throw all your money, all your earnings to the church, we'll forgive your sins. Is that a good way to go about things? No, probably not, right? And it was just this false hope, this false reality, and this control the church really had on the people. Can you only imagine that? You know, we'll forgive your sins as long as you pay up. Do some duties for us, right? In many cases, act as slaves to the church. All right, good. Carolyn, go ahead.
Will we talk about this Pharisee too? Because I would love to like walk through my again.
Yeah, we will get into that here soon. Okay, good. Is there any questions on that assignment? All right, so I want to get you to your terms here. I really only have 2. I think I only have 2. That's going to finish up the Renaissance, and we're going to move right to the Reformation from there. No. Got one more to add here. Ooh, there you go. Whoa. Okay, there we go. All right, these are your last of the terms for the Renaissance period. We will be going to the Reformation. You can keep it in the same vocab. I'll just have like a little subtopic, really, of the Reformation below it, so that doesn't confuse you from the Renaissance to the Reformation. All right, so we got Johannes Gutenberg. What a name. What a name. And then you got the printing revolution. And if you haven't done so already, please turn in that assignment from yesterday that we just went over. I'm going to grade that next period. So have that turned in. All right, Gutenberg, what do we have? What do we have? What do we got for Gutenberg? Go ahead, Lana, thank you. Yeah, good job, good job. So he was a goldsmith early in his life. Okay, it's really unclear about his early upbringing because, well, it was so long ago. But yeah, he was a goldsmith for quite a bit of time, and he found a fascination with working with mechanisms and trying to apply these new innovations, these forms of engineering to create something beneficial for society. At the time, the only way you can get copies of books, and the most popular at the time, was the Bible. Right? So the Bible, the only way to do so is to copy it by hand. And you know how long it would take to copy the whole Bible by hand? Long time, very long time. I really can't really go by the years. I guess it depends on who's copying it down, how fast they write things. But in any case, it would take almost about a year, a little bit past a year, to create and copy down the text of the Bible. Another thing is that the language of the time, we know with different areas all throughout Europe, there's different languages. So it's almost impossible to get any other copies that are translated to your language. So you can only imagine how that might hinder the ability to spread these ideas, these viewpoints, these perspectives all throughout Europe. You're limited of what you can do, right? So by right around the mid 1400s, Gutenberg creates a printing press. There's about 30,000 books. That's it, all throughout Europe. Can you imagine that? Only 30,000 books in Europe at one time. That's it. But by the 1500s, there'd be 12 million. That's a huge jump, isn't it? 30,000 to 12 million. It's amazing to think about.
That's like 7.
Yeah, so about 12 million books then because of the printing press. And this would just become a little bit more advanced, a little bit more emphasized throughout the years, obviously, to create even more productions and even translating it into different languages, right? So that's important to know. Why is the printing revolution so important? Why is it so important? I just kind of talked a bit about it when it comes to rhetoric, when it comes to themes, ideas, humanism. Why else? Austin, go ahead.
It helps spread, well, anything read by like books or word or
Yeah, good job. Good. Yeah. So when it comes to certain perspectives, okay, and if more people are reading, what does that mean? More people are educated, more people are informed. And these ideas can be experienced, people can come together, and they can form groups and organizations to maybe topple or challenge some works of authority, which will lead to, Chris, you said it before, the Reformation. Yeah, good job. So without the printing press, who knows? The Reformation might never have happened. And who knows what history would look like without the Reformation. I know we didn't talk about it yet, but you guys can kind of see where this is going, where this is leading to. Chris, do you have something else to add?
Yeah, I just know that Martin Luther went to Johannes Gutenberg for a lot of Bibles.
Yeah.
So that the common folk could read it.
Yeah, good job. Good job. So again, main production was the Bible. And the assignment I have for you tonight. Oh, sorry about Gutenberg. Yeah, there's only 3 questions. That's it. I promise won't be too long. But yeah, with Gutenberg, he's famous for the printing press. And this is what it would look like. And I have a video for you. How about I show you tomorrow at the start of class of what this would look like, the process of the printing press and how these fine works would be created. All right, so the first printing press with movable type. Okay, printed Bible. Books are now easy to produce. They're cheap, available to all. So like anything, if you have a lower supply, obviously that's going to raise the price. But with the printing press, this created a huge supply of books. In this case, the Bible, that was what was heavily focused on. And these ideas, these movements, all emerged throughout Europe and really converting many other people to Christianity with the use of these books. Translations eventually, having these books translated to certain languages, like Latin, German, French, English. Those are all important. Okay? And this printing revolution is one that many people don't think of. That changes the course of history, but it does. It really does. If more people are reading, that means they're more informed. If more people are reaching these new ideas and perspectives, that's overall going to change and move the direction of civilization. In this case, for the better. So reform will occur. Obviously, we know what the Reformation about to happen. There's going to be kickback, challenges to the Catholic Church. And these ideas spread pretty quick all throughout Europe, thanks to the printing press. Unfortunately, you guys will read about it here with Gutenberg. He wanted to realize what his invention would really bring to the world, okay, and how that would change the world forever. As he would pass away before it really kicks off to become such a mass-produced, the printing press mass-producing these books and ideologies all around the world. Today, we can just get it on our phones or iPads, so it's a little different, right? A little different, but in any case, this is where it all starts, the mass production of ideas and these innovations to society that's beneficial for years on it. All right, is there any questions on Gutenberg here? The printing press, the printing revolution. You can see how this is going to lead right to the Reformation, how this is going to create challenges of ideas. Okay, we'll mention with the Enlightenment thinkers, okay, and how their works of art, their books would spread across Europe and influence many people to seek this change, to seek this movement in a better direction. And the increase of mass media. We all know with media, some cases good, some cases bad, might have a negative connotation to it. But this overall benefits and influences the people in many cases. And sometimes it might hinder, but obviously media is a huge function, a huge system, an institution in society. All right, so here's your assignment. Oh man, perfect timing. Okay, so Gutenberg and the printing press. So here is the template here. Here is the article I'd like you to read. Again, it's not too long. That's it, right there. That's it. Nothing crazy, all right? I promise, promise. And attached, you can see the Lord's Prayer. All right, so like I mentioned, Gutenberg was heavily influenced, like many people, by religion, by Christianity. His goal is to try to spread Christian values all throughout Europe. And I thought it was important to put the Old English. You can see the Old English language of the Lord's Prayer, and obviously to more of a modern look of English. And then here are your questions. They're just the ones that were attached to the bottom. But 3 questions. That's it. 3 questions. All right. Does everybody know what we're doing? Yeah? B, what's up?
You didn't post the assignment.
What?
Yeah, you just posted the headings of it.
Oh, how about I post it at 8:07? Does that work? No, I'm just joking. There you go. There you go. I won't be that mean. Hey, you got 3 minutes. You got 3 questions. If you complete these questions per minute, you'll be done. Look at that.
We have to.
Yeah, you got to read.
It's gonna take me 3 minutes to solve cost.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because now, of course.
Hey, I was looking to help you out too. So if you paid attention, you wrote some notes down, you'll know some of these questions just based off the content. But I'd like you to read it, talk a little bit about the background of Goldsmith, what influenced him to create the printing press. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
No, mashing the iPad.
Oh, Connor, I didn't do that on a daily basis.
Oh my God. I didn't know why.
See, Connor, if it's up